Neil, we have a real kinship with Neil. Actually, we don't have a real kinship with Neil. And I'll explain that later. But if it weren't for Neil, I'm not sure Poco would have got started because, you know, when we first started off, we were poorer than we are now. Thank you, Tea Party. Anyway, we rehearsed it. Richie Furay had this little house in Laurel Canyon. Laurel Canyon was an amazing thing back in like 1968. I was staying with a friend and we lived right next to Captain Beefheart. Yeah, fresh garbage or something. I forget what he had. It was amazing. And you know, Jim Morrison lived up there and Joni Mitchell and everybody was in this thing. And Richie had this little house at the bottom and we'd rehearse down there until the cops would come. And you know, after a few times we had to stop rehearsing there. So we went to Jimmy Messina's house. He had a house out in the valley with a swimming pool. That's Jimmy. And but his girlfriends had objected to us being there that much, so we couldn't rehearse there anymore. Girlfriends, actually. He used to come down Laurel Canyon. Jimmy, I don't know if you can picture this. Messina used to come down Laurel Canyon. He had a Triumph motorcycle, and he had this dog named Jasper. And he would have Jasper up on the handlebars, and he'd roar down Laurel Canyon. He put a scarf around the dog, a red scarf around the dog. Dog would sit right up there in the front. Jimmy would roar down. You'd see him every day doing that run. I don't know, going to the studio, I guess. I asked Jimmy, you know, what's up with Jasper on the front of your motorcycle all the time? And he said, well, he's the only one that's got a license. So anyway, we couldn't rehearse it at any of those places anymore, and it was getting grim. So I just happened to stop by our manager's house, and he was just wringing his head like that, and he said, look at this table. And the table was filled with airline tickets, just, you know, like thousands of dollars. These thousands of dollars are there. And what happened was when the Buffalo Springfield would go on tour, Neil wouldn't. And so they'd show up at the airport and they'd go, where's Neil? And he wouldn't be there. So they'd have his airline ticket, and Dickie Davis was the road manager at Springfield. He'd throw it just in his glove compartment of his little red Volkswagen. And they sat there for a year or something, this went on. And so I went over to the house, and there they were. He said, I found these in my glove compartment. Look at them. And it was just, just thousands, and we have no money. So I picked one up, and I opened it up, and I looked at it. And on the ticket, it said, initial N. It said, N. Young. My first name's Norman. Yeah. Perfect. Dickie, I said, Dickie, you're not going to believe this. We grabbed those tickets, ran down. In those days, they would, if you had an airline ticket, you could give it back to them and they'd give you the money. Imagine that. So we went down there and they gave it, we had like thousands. We got to rehearse at the nicest rehearsal studio in Hollywood for like 6 months, thanks to Neil. This is Richie's song. Well, there goes another day. One girl I, you and I keep telling lies. Can't believe what you say, 'cause tomorrow's about. Child.